The format of this session is we have the past chairman of both USA and Indian conferences. They will give you as to why Pan IIT was formed, how it was formed. I will try and moderate that. This will happen in the first 20 minutes, each of them taking about 5 minutes. And then the present and future group will come in there after we leave, and they will tell you what we are doing at this point, where you expect what we want us to do, and then go from there for the next 20 minutes with a question and answer session also. Thank you. Since this is a round table format, we really don't need to go up and down, so we will let people talk from where they are. First is Monishi Sanyal. Just to introduce him, he is from 1970 batch of IIT Madras. I know when he was trying to form 2002 conference in California, I used to be the Alumni Affairs Executive Secretary in IIT Madras. He went from pillar to pole to get somebody to underwrite it. IIT Mana underwrote $5,000 of his total budget that he wanted. And he established a benchmark. And he used to be a boxer also. I guess everybody obeyed whatever he wanted to do. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Monish Sanyal. Well, he just told you who I am. We saw the formation and the formation of the Pan IIT movement back in 2003 officially, but we had actually started work on that in 2001. And the primary driving motivation was, at that point in time, in 2001, the market had tanked, in the US with the dot-com bust and all that, and people wanted to network. So there was a strong need for networking, and I'm talking about primarily North America. And unfortunately, the culture at that time was, one IIT guy didn't talk to another IIT guy. That means, if IIT Madras wouldn't talk to IIT Bombay or IIT Kharagpur, they kind of stuck to their own little isolated groups. And because of the crash of 2001, the necessity of interacting with all other IITs became very compelling. The second thing we realized that every IIT had some very key alumni who had achieved a great degree, and the question is, if we combined all the IITs, we had a very significant group where we could drive the brand of IIT. We didn't want to be known as people from India who were coming in on a cost arbitrage, but the fact is that we were IITians who'd set up companies, given employment, and a lot of other good things that IITians have done beyond the realm of just being low-cost programmers or whatever. We were not really in that realm. So 2 goals we had: branding and networking. And I know in India, they didn't have to brand IIT. Their goal was, which PG will tell you about it, was more nation building. So keeping that in mind, I remember Anil Shirsagar had called all the local area presidents of the Bay Area, and we started having a round of meetings because Bay Area had about 35% of the North American alumni, and we were very, very concentrated. So we decided that just at the time I found out that the IIT Kharagpur was going to complete its 50th anniversary, I said, why don't we use this as a good staging point for our event, which will launch the Pan IIT movement. So then we formed a steering committee of Rajat Gupta, Desh Deshpande, Purnendu Chatterjee, Kanwal Rekhi, and Umang Gupta. That was our steering committee, and we were able to, I think our big explosion took place when we were able to get Bill Gates as our keynote speaker. And also, that was the first big whammy. And the second one was that we had engaged 60 Minutes to cover a program on the IITs. And I know Mr. Narayan Murthy, who was our Pan IIT's first chairman, he made a remarkable statement that his son couldn't get into IIT, so he went to Cornell on a scholarship. And that blew everybody in America away, because that was played over and over again. And that was such a powerful statement about what the IIT standards were like. So anyway, that event was very, very successful. We were a completely sold out crowd 10 days before the event. And that really launched the Pan IIT movement, because we had a directors meeting just after the Pan IIT event on 17th and 18th of January. On 19th, we had a meeting of all the directors, the presidents, and key alumni, and Narayan Murthy became our first chairman, and Rajat was the co-chair, and and then of course it's been history. I just thought I'd go flat out at doing that event as best as I could, because at the next 50th I wouldn't be around. But I had no idea that year by year this movement would be growing in strength. And then this format came in that we would do US and India and things like that. Now, beyond the realm of just the Pan IIT, we've done other things. Well, most notably in the Bay Area, we've got a mentor group. We've been running innovation summits. We've been doing a lot of other professional events, apart from which the family events, to get more and more people rounded up. We're about 9,000 strong just in the Bay Area, 9,000 IITians who are registered members. There might be quite a few others who are not registered. But that's pretty much how we started. And then we handed over the baton to India to run the next event, which was the 2004. And they had different goals, and I think PG can explain that. Sorry.
This program is about Pan IIT movement as such, and not necessarily the conference only. So before I hand over this to Pradeep Gupta, who successfully set a benchmark again for India, there was one conference in between. If I'll be failing in my duty if I don't mention that. In Bangalore, when the successful conference was done in San Francisco, IITs being in here, several people led by Nandan Nilankeni started organizing the Pan IIT. They didn't call it Pan IIT conference, they all called a conference, and it was done by chairman of Vimoksha Technology. Unfortunately, I don't have his name. Pawan Kumar, I understand. Okay. So he did that. After that, it was Pradeep Gupta's turn, and he, for India, set up a benchmark.
Thank you. So I'm 75 IIT Delhi. And got involved with the entire early days of Pan IIT movement here in India. There was a big event which was planned, but I think because of certain differences with Ministry of HRD, the entire thing had to be postponed, and finally we did it in December. But at that time, one of the objectives that few of us who had got involved with the Pan IIT movement here in India was to ensure that we set up what were going to be the objectives. So as Monishi said, that brand building and networking were the two objectives which were picked up initially, but we felt that we needed to expand on that so that we could make it more relevant for India. One of the things that we added was advocacy, because we felt that as IITians we could make differences in different areas. And another thing which was added there was nation building. Because we felt that as far as brand is concerned, the IIT brand is already very well known in India, and therefore we should focus less on that particular aspect. I mean, you look at the marriage columns and you will find, how popular the IIT brand is. In terms of networking, the individual alumni associations were doing a lot of networking already, and therefore we decided to focus on point number 3 and 4, which was advocacy as well as nation building. So it was setting up the objective, and then after that setting up of the rules, framing various kind of stuff that would be done in terms of ensuring that very, very active Pan IIT movement started taking shape. On networking, we were very clear that while the alumni associations were doing a certain thing, there could be different kind of things which could be done by Pan IIT, because the entire power of networks, as we know, is the square of the number of nodes which are connected on it, and therefore if 7 times the number of nodes which are there, the power of that network becomes 50 times. And indeed, that is something that is visible here. We have had at least 4 or 5 chief ministers and so on coming and attending that, which probably would not have happened in individual alumni association programs. President Abdul Kalam came and inaugurated the first Indian conference, the global conference, which was held in India in 2004, which I chaired. And he also gave us the direction that we should move into the direction of not just becoming job seekers, but job creators, and that led to a whole lot of entrepreneurial related movements also. So those were some of the early days, the formative years. Back to you.
Pradeep Gupta formed a formal Pan-IIT association at that time, but it was taken to a greater height during Ashank Desai's time, where he registered the association as Pan-IIT Alumni Association of India. And with that introduction, Ashank, as you all know, is from IIT Bombay, and he heads a company called Mastech.
Thanks, Raj. I got inducted into this somewhere in US, I think in 2005, when IIT Bombay director Ashok Mishra told me to look at heading this 2006 event. And that got me into Pan IIT, and then I was part of the board of PG, who was chairman of that Pan IIT at that time. And PG was doing great work in terms of that foundation that was required. However, I found that there were 2 or 3 things that we need to do to move the work that PG had done to move forward. What was needed was an organization to make it move forward, because whatever attempts PG was trying to do were hamstrung because of lack of organization, full-time organization to support it. That was one. Second, to build organization, you need money. After all, we had not much money in our hand. We were just an organization started with all the enthusiasm, but not a revenue model. So that was 2. Number 3, and most important, as PG said, that nation building initiatives and advocacy required some leadership generation, some kind of leadership building and inspiration among IITians. Because after all, how much a 5-6 people or 10 people board member or 15 people board member can do. So we need to build a leadership. And beyond that, we need to build processes to make it happen. So having a clarity of vision which was there, which was nation building and advocacy, we used next 3 steps, as I said, organization, foundation, money generation, and leadership and processes to move this whole movement forward. And I got an opportunity in 2006. If some of you were there, it was 5,000 people attended that event, and we inspired large number of IITians to do something. So what I feel good about it is we and all of our team inspired quite a few IITians to do nation building. So what he started with nation building as a vision, we moved it ahead by doing that event. Event was a great success, but what was more important to me was there were 3 projects which are still undergoing in a big way, which started at that time. One is called PARFI, which is Reach for India. You heard them in one of the sessions, to build the skilled people out of the efforts of Hari and Kalyan, who is there in this. They came with a vision, and Pan IIT supported them. Then the second one was Indo-US collaboration for engineering education. I'll not explain it again. It was for training people from getting faculty from IIT. That started by Vedula. And then there was IITians for ITI. Now all these 3 projects started by inspiring from 2006 event. So event was helpful in making that happen. So leadership inspiration happened in that period where I was running that organization. Organization foundation we did by hiring Ms. Ashok Kalbag, who was there, first Secretary General, and some staff under him. So that, sorry, I'm sorry, thank you. Mustan Tambawala was our first Secretary General, but he had lot of other things that he was doing, so he decided to move on, and then we had Ashok Kalbag, which was for much longer time. Mustan was there for first 3-4 months, so I appreciate his work that he did start, and in fact enrolling some of this inspired leader in Pan IIT Win fold. So we did organization building in that period, and to do all that, as I said, we need money, and that money came from the surplus from the event. So we have this whole business model, if I may say, of earning money from the event, which goes in nation building and other Pan IIT activities. So all of you must be wondering what's happening with this event and surplus, if any, that goes in helping nation building activity by helping these organizations apart from running secretariat and other things. So that process started in 2006 is all that I'm trying to say. I won't take more time. I would only add one more part. As I said, it was about organization, money, leadership, and processes. We built some processes to identify the event, the nation building activities. We used to call in any funny way, SAM, NAM, DAM, and CAM, just for the word of any other word. SAM means we'll just catalyze that. NAM means we will give name to that, that particular initiative. CAM means is money, we will give them money. DAM is money, and CAM means the last one which we will do it ourselves. Because Pan IIT is a small organization. We can't do it everything. We need leaders from outside, and many of you, if they are inspired after this event, should take up a project and Pan IIT can support. That model and the processes were built in that period of 2006 to 8, and those processes are, of course, moved on by Hari when he took over from me, which we'll talk about. But the point I'm saying is we moved on step 1 to step 2 in India, and that is what you are seeing its end result. Thanks.
And again, I will be remiss if I don't recognize the amount of work that the US alumni did in having this passed in the Congress.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge the Washington group. I see Hiten over there, Hitinda, and Suresh is missing, but beyond our 60 Minutes program, which made us a household name in the US, we started wielding significant influence on US Congress, and the US Congress passed resolution, House Resolution number 227, right? 277 or 227, acknowledging the contribution of IITians to the US economy, and that was a major milestone for us. That's Hitenda, can you stand up? He and Suresh Shenoy delivered that to us.
Yeah, sorry, I must also add people who helped in that journey that we had. We had many people who helped us. Suresh, of course, was helpful in 2006. Phi event, he did a great event which helped me to make this 6 happen. And then we had, Sanjeev Sahai after that, but he was helpful. Then we had good help from Arjun and Umang Gupta and Rajat, who were heading the Pan IIT board that time, and we had help from our good friends from Infosys, that is Murthy, and Chris donated quite a bit of money to this project of Parfi, and Murthy has donated money for this IUCE. So don't forget, although we inspired this movement, the money came from other IITians like Murthy and Chris Gopal Krishnan, and that made us move it ahead. I think Murthy is in audience somewhere, I think, and Desh is there. Desh is in the audience? No. Okay, yeah, Desh, of course. Desh and Murthy, Narayan Murthy helped us to move that IUCE forward, and that is what is important. So please remember, this is not an effort of only these people around. There are a lot of people behind us.
Thank you. Next comes Hari Padmanabhan, and he started his career in Pan IIT in 2008. Before that, unfortunately, he was not that much involved because he was working in Middle East. So he was parachuted in as a chairman of 2008 PIAI, and he will tell you his last 2 years how he grew this up.
Thanks, Raj. Like Raj said, the previous chairman, each of them had a conference that was the primary objective, the primary pull that brought them into this whole thing, and they ran it. When I came on board after the Chennai conference and before the Delhi conference, and there was a conference chair for Delhi already. So from that point in time, I believe that the job of the chairman of Pan IIT alumni roles and responsibilities kind of shifted. So like Sandeepan here is the conference chair, but there's a chair who is the current chair of the PIAI as it's called. So I looked at it and I said, what do I have? As Ashang mentioned, they had catalyzed the formation of some of these nation building initiatives and the projects, which essentially came out of the passion and the involvement, the commitment of individuals who had put up an idea, converted that into a process, some kind of a plan. I can't call it a strict business plan. In some cases, there was financial viability. Other cases, it was not. But this had got started. And then there was a space created where we said we need to build the brand, we need to network, and we need to do advocacy. That's the three objectives that was given. So when you looked at this, the question was brand building. How do you really translate that to action? So I looked at it and said, if there were these nation building is a key initiative it started, how do we take it forward to the next step? Fundamentally, we needed just to enable them. These are entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs. And they knew what they wanted to do. They knew how to do it, basically. But they needed connectivity to the larger environment, to government, to other organizations. They needed a larger umbrella under which they could really go and position themselves as what they can be with larger organizations. So the brand building came out of the engagement with the sponsors. When we started to engage with potential sponsors for the Delhi conclave, the one question that they repeatedly asked is, what does PAN-IIT do between conclaves? So you come, you do all of this stuff, then what happens after that? So I said to myself, if we were to do something where we can actually tangibly present the progress that it is having in terms of the impact it's happening in the society, then there would be some continuity and some continuous process of growing it in a fashion that we could say, this is what we do. Because we said we are forming this to give back to the nation that funded partly or significantly our education in the first place. So the giving back part came out of nation building. So we focused on that. We said we need to enable them. And so we did quarterly workshops, brought them together. A number of other new nation-building initiatives came in at that point. IIT mentors came in, Avanti Fellows, which Ashank seeded, and people out of IIT and Harvard came out and started off. Then there was others like, there was Classel that came in. So quite a more nation-building came. We looked at this and we said, let us group them into three parts. One that looks at employment, which is a key issue across the country. So we need to create jobs and we need to enable people to get the jobs by providing training. There was Parfi and iCreate, which brought in entrepreneurship and jobs as well. And IITians for ITIs, which improved the quality of education in the ITIs, as IUCE did in some way. The second part was education. Third was entrepreneurship. So employment, education, entrepreneurship are the three areas we focused in terms of dovetailing the actions of the NBIs into channels that can create an impact overall, which can be looked at. The other side, we said, was to engage with the alumni and engage the alumni. These are the people who will provide the connectivity. These are the people who will can make things happen by providing their time, their money when required, like some of them are already doing, but more importantly, the time and the expertise in the various areas where they would have interest. So that's the second part of the engagement. But the most important thing I believed was to put in place a permanent organization that would provide the continuity in spite of the changes in the chairmanship and the board of the organization. While there's an executive committee that comes and goes, there needs to be a continuity. So we enhanced the base structure by putting in certain operating officers. We shifted them from being secretary generals to operating officers because now we had to deliver on results, not do just a secretarial kind of a back office function. So the idea was to really move it from an organization that looked at enabling the alumni and to one that went out and produced results in the marketplace, so to say, more of an operating organization. And that's the base we started to put in place, which we brought in with a chief operating officer and people to actually do the groundwork and enable the nation-building arms, do the work that they can in a much more enabling way. So enablement, engagement, digital marketing, social media, these are the initiatives we took to move it forward.
Thank you. That is the history of PAN-IIT. Now we come to the present, where Sandeepan, all of you know, was anointed to take care of this conference. So he will tell you what are all the difficulties and the achievements. I'm sure in the next session he will get a review on what has happened there, and the future will come here. The PAN-IIT organization now has changed a little bit of a face. So far, the chairman have been elected by some process of consensus. We really did not know who the alumni at large did not know how they belong to the Pan IIT Alumni Organization, but now it is clear we all belong to our individual alumni associations. The individual alumni association send their representatives to the executive committee of the Pan IAI, and they select the office bearers. So the new office bearers with Chairman Vaish and others will come and take over, and Sandeepan Chakravarti will stay on with the present and the future. Yes, Shashank. Yes, Shashank.
Yeah, sorry, half a minute, sorry. There is third facet of Pan IIT that you people must know is that providing a think tank role of Pan IITians to the various, particularly at government level. So we have produced 2 reports. One for the higher education called Pancharatna, produced by 20 IITians from India and US, which was accepted by Minister Kapil Sibal and implemented quite a few suggestions out of it. And there is another report produced called Technology for Future for India. So we also do that work, is what I wanted to say, apart from nation building, advocacy, and also